Alright, so I wanted to revisit a video I did in the past about action cameras. I know I made a video on the Insta360 Go. This is the Go 2, the second version, so kind of wanted to go over some of the new features on it as well as compare it to the GoPro Hero 9. I have always been a fanboy of GoPro products, especially because they've always had multiple different mounting options, especially this one here. This is one of my favorite. Obviously it's a suction cup, it goes on your car on the outside, you can get some pretty cool shots. So I wanted to compare it to this Insta360 Go 2. So right now some of the physical differences you can see is that this is actually not the camera. If I really just wanted to pull the camera out and compare cameras, we'd be comparing these two right here, which huge difference in size. This one here has two screens. Actually, I'll just turn it on right now. You can see some of the settings there. You can, not sure how well you can see my camera, but yeah, it's another way of monitoring what you're shooting. And then obviously the back, you can mess around with the settings there or kind of see where you're shooting at. So that's what's cool about these GoPro Hero 9s and up, because they are going to come with front and rear screen. This camera here, the Go 2 from Insta360, does not have any screen or LCD screen or anything on it that's going to tell you what's going on with it. Just a little tiny light that you can see there, and that's about it. That's the only information you're going to be able to get from this when you have this on. It also vibrates to let you know when it starts recording, when it stops recording. But that's about it. If you go ahead and pair the camera with the case here, which is pretty easy, you just kind of throw it on. It's magnetic. You do get a screen here, but it just gives you some setting options and all that. Doesn't really show you what you're looking at. You can connect your phone to the camera and do it that way, but at that point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're not going to be using it. Also, these action cameras have a pretty good field of view, so it's all about point and shoot. Compared to all these bigger cameras with different lenses and stuff, you want that viewfinder or that screen to show you what you're actually recording. So these doesn't really matter. It has a really wide field of view for both of these actually. So another difference is going to be the resolution on it. The GoPro Hero 9 here can record up to 5K, whereas this Insta360 can record 1440p. Now, if you are picking this camera up solely because it shoots in 5K, you are going to need a pretty decent computer to even edit those files, because they're pretty large files. If you're dealing with Insta360, you're only dealing with 1440p footage, and it should be a lot less than this 5K. You also can record 4K in this, which is what I do. I don't really ever touch 5K, but if you're recording in 1440p or 5K, at least from my experience, I normally just throw that back down to 1080p. So I don't really care about the 5K. Battery life on both of these. One of the things that I really loved about my GoPro was that I would buy multiple batteries, as you can see here, and just kind of swap throughout the day. So if I knew I was going to go out to an event or something, I would charge all 4 of my batteries and just have this in my bag and then just swap them out as I'm recording. The GoPro Hero 9, at least from my experience personally, I'm able to get about an hour per battery shooting at 4K 30 frames per second or 60 sometimes. And I get about an hour, and then I swap batteries. So with all my batteries, I get about 4 hours of record time, whereas the Insta360 can record 1 hour at 1440p using this little tiny camera alone. So pretty similar to the GoPro, but the only difference is I can't throw a new battery into this and keep recording. I have to either pair it with the case here, which will give me another hour and a half, or I'm just gonna say 2 hours. It'll give you an hour extra to record, so you get 2 hours out of this package right here. So you get an hour on the camera and an hour on the charging case, and you can actually record with this camera in the charging case. But where this camera really shines is when you throw it onto one of the mounts, because it's so small, you're not gonna really use it with this case. So, you know, after an hour, you're gonna have to throw this back on and get another hour of charge time. Now I will add that with the GoPro, if you are going to swap over to 5K video, you're probably going to get less time on that battery as well, because you're recording at a higher resolution. So keep that in mind too when you're thinking about battery life. Alright, so now I'm going to be going over some of the features that these cameras have. Obviously both of these have awesome stabilization right out of the box. You don't really need to do anything to them, put a gimbal or anything like that. They have gimbal-like stabilization right out of the box. So the GoPro here, you know, you do have ways of messing with the footage. You can upload it and do all kinds of stuff with it. But the thing that I found was when I use my GoPro, I like to record a lot of stories on my Instagram and Reels now. So when I would record an event or something, I would normally have to record it twice using my GoPro. I would record it like this in landscape, and then when I would want to record a portion for my Instagram story, I would turn my camera and record another clip. So you know, that gets pretty old. You're shooting twice. Sometimes the same thing doesn't happen twice, so you know, you kind of left with either a landscape file that you have to kind of crop around and get it, center everything so it looks good. But with the Insta360, it has like a built-in pro mode where you can record it in 16:9, which is landscape, and push a button and have it in 19:16, which is the portrait mode that I want, all within that one clip. So you have a lot of flexibility with the Insta360 Go 2. I really like their app too. With exporting, you can export at a higher bitrate and stuff. So it's really cool. The app it needs a little bit of work, but the fact that you can do that alone, aside from everything else, is pretty dope. Also, the horizon level feature that a lot of cameras are coming out with, the Insta360 Go does have that built in. So for example, if I'm recording and I'm moving this camera around like this, the horizon will be leveled. It won't be spinning as I'm spinning the camera. The GoPro does have that feature, but you do need to buy an additional piece for this lens here that's like $80 to $90. So you're adding another additional cost to the camera to be able to just do that horizon level feature. Also, both of these cameras are waterproof. I wouldn't go scuba diving or anything crazy like that, but you know, you can go into a pool or a lake and these are pretty waterproof. If you do anything crazier, I know GoPro does have another case that kind of helps with that, with the depth and stuff. I never use it because I'm not doing that, but I don't know why I got this. I think this is actually for the Hero 8. But not sure if there's any waterproof or scuba diving case for the Go 2. I'll look it up, and if there is, I'll put it on screen. But I mean, this will get you by with going into a pool or stuff like that. So you should be good with just a camera. So now I'm going to talk about all the mounting options for each of these cameras. GoPro has been the king of mounting options for a while, to the point where many camera companies have adapted to the same mount. I know DJI Osmo Action, when they came out with that camera, they were shipping it with a GoPro style mount so that you can use all the GoPro mounts with it. And I thought that was pretty cool, but when I received this Insta360, obviously it's not as big as a GoPro and there's not a real way of mounting this, I thought. So it just came with its own mounts, but the mounts that this camera comes with, which is not those, but you do get this one here. This is like a sticky mount that sticks to pretty much anything that's flat, and you can throw the camera on there. I'm actually need to clean this so it sticks a little better, but I use this mount pretty much every time I go out to use one of my RC crawlers or anything, because it sticks to the body and you can get some pretty cool shots because you have this swivel here. So I think that's pretty cool to use. You also get this one here. This is like a hat mount. You put this on your hat and it goes against your forehead or whatever, and you can kind of swivel this around to get some cool shots. I also added Velcro to the back of this so that I can attach it to anything Velcro, like my plate carrier and stuff like that. This has worked pretty well. And then you also get this here. This is my favorite mount that the camera comes with. This is like ideally a chest mount. You put this necklace on and put this underneath your shirt, and then the camera, just since it's magnetic, just kind of sticks on, and since it's so small and light, it doesn't come off. This is similar to how you would use the chest mount on a GoPro, but this is a chest mount for the GoPro, and then this is a GoPro, so you have this big huge thing on your chest, opposed to technically just the camera. Since this is under your shirt, you're gonna have this, your camera's just sticking on your shirt. So this is pretty nice. It's really discreet, not as noticeable, so it's pretty cool to get like some vlog footage that way instead of wearing this big old thing. Now when you purchase the GoPro Hero 9, you don't really get much for the price. I believe this one here, as of right now, you can get it for $329, and you only get a charging cable, a sticky helmet mount, and the battery, and that's pretty much it. Whereas the Insta360 for $300, you get the camera, this charging case that it comes in. You get this mount here, which is like a hat mount. You get the sticky mount that I mentioned earlier. And then you also get this necklace. This is all out of the box, so you pretty much have a lot of options to get some pretty cool footage with the $300 you spent. I do have similar mounts for the GoPro, but I had to buy these separately. I will say that the reason why you don't see the GoPro Hero 10 here, because I normally like to buy a lot of the GoPros and test them out. And if I don't like them, Amazon has a pretty cool return policy. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, I didn't even think about getting it because the camera by itself is worth like $449 or something like that without the GoPro subscription. But if you subscribe to the GoPro subscription, which is like $50, you get it for like $350. But then you are gonna forget to cancel that. So for example, me, I forgot to cancel it for this year, and I got charged another 50 bucks, and I don't even use that service anymore. So just keep that in mind if you are planning on getting the GoPro Hero 10. But that's why you don't see it here today, is because I just felt like that was kind of lame that they're doing it that way, because the camera, and then on their side it's like $500. So I said no. I have the GoPro Hero 9. It doesn't really have that many more features that I would want, so I'm happy with this GoPro Hero 9. I'm not planning actually on getting rid of my Hero 9 or Hero 8 because I do have the Hero 8 as well. Also, for the internal storage of the Insta360, this one here is a $300 version. You do get 32 gigs of in-camera storage, or if you pay 329 bucks, you do get the 64 gig model. All right, so in the end, it's really gonna depend on the user to decide which camera they want to go with. I can see the GoPro here going more towards someone that really does a lot of crazy activities and is out there snowboarding, or is putting this camera through some crazy conditions where you're probably at risk of getting the camera knocked down or tossed around or something like that. Whereas this one here is too small. You throw this in the dirt or anything, you're probably going to lose it because it's so small, or let alone break it. So I would probably lean towards a GoPro. But if you're someone that's doing like vlog stuff or carrying this camera daily, it's so small and discreet that this will probably be a better fit for you, because it does everything you really need it to do at that point, with the exception of not being able to go through the crazy conditions that a GoPro can probably go to. But this could work as an action camera as well, as long as you're not doing anything crazy, because keep in mind this necklace here is magnetic, so you're probably going to toss this out of the way. For me, I like using both. I use this one pretty often actually. This one stays in my pocket from time to time for the whole day because it's so small, whereas the GoPro, it stays in my camera bag or my camera case, and I pull this out when I'm recording any footage outside of the car, or if I'm staging this camera to record a car passing by real fast or something. I'm not really worried that this camera is going to get damaged that easy, so that's why I keep this still. That's why I have this Hero 8 too as well. So I use both of these pretty often for stuff like that. But for everyday use, I'm probably sticking with the Insta360. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share that with you and give you a few options in case you're in the market for action camera.